So why would the CEO of a billion-dollar AI startup jump ship? Well, we're finding out right now. The news is this. Late last week, the founder and CEO of Stability AI, Emad Mostaque, made the shock announcement that he was stepping down from his role and the company's board. Now, Stability AI is behind the popular product Stable Diffusion, which creates images based on user prompts, and you've probably heard of it. This is not a small company. It raised 9 figures worth of capital during its life, including a $101 million round back in late 2022 and $50 million more from Intel in late 2023. A popular product, big dollars, what could go wrong? Well, around the time when it raised from Intel, its head of audio work quit over conflicts with the company's use of copyrighted training data, just to pick an example. Losing several executives, however, was just one issue facing the company. Its finances were the other. Things got so bad that last year, its backer Coatue called for the CEO to resign as the company considered a sale. Now, the CEO's managing style was criticized by some, as were some of his claims, including that he had once worked as a secret agent. Now, a startup CEO that can spin a yarn and prove a bit fast-moving for normal corporate standards is hardly a shock. But it does seem that Stability did have some rather unique issues. One of which was, as we said, its finances. Back in mid-2023, Semaphore reported that Stability AI had burned through a big portion of the $100 million that it had raised before. And more recent reporting indicates that the company was only bringing in a fraction of the $8 million it was spending each month, which means the company was going to need more capital to keep going. And sure, the money from Intel helped, but at that pace of burn, it was going to need even more. That's not a great place to be as a CEO if your investors are already publicly unhappy. Now, Mostaque said that he stepped down to work on what he calls decentralized AI, which we presume will have a strong open source component, and that's all well and good. He also said that he wasn't forced out because he still has voting control of the company. I'm sure his investors love that. But his exit did leave Stability scrambling. It had to appoint 2 executives as interim co-CEOs, which is never a very stable way to run a business. Was this just the saga of a founder that wound up over their heads? Sure, but it's not just that. There's also the financial side of the company to consider and what it can tell us about the state of the AI market today. Here's my question. How much revenue can AI companies that don't have access to the deepest backers hope to generate in the near term? They need that revenue because the costs of building AI models are very clear. However, the revenue picture is a little bit less so. Now, the Stability story is a startup story, but it's also a saga that could tell us about how hard it's going to be to compete in the world of AI today when so many startups with big tech backers have already raised billions. It also tells us that just having neat tech that people like is far from enough to succeed in today's modern AI race.